Okay, so 10 homelessness survival tips for autistic people. Well, being homeless for an autistic person is different since we really don't have many people to rely on or the ability to get a job as easily as a neurotypical person would. Even for like high IQ people, this is true. So you're pretty much forced to live a survivalist lifestyle if you unfortunately end up homeless as an autistic person, which pretty much implies that your family has cut you off and you've lost all your money, if not. Yeah. Okay, so number one is get a tent and a sleeping bag. These two things are definitely 100% non negotiable. Like, if you're sleeping on the street, you're going to deal with rain, bugs, cold temperatures, and the one main thing that concerns me actually is bats with rabies biting you at night. That's like number one worry thing I'm worried about, to be honest. Like like they can like bite you, and like a couple months from now you won't be able to drink water, and that'll be horrible. So, and also make sure to get a tarp as well as a what's it called, camo netting, so that you don't get discovered. So yeah, these are definitely essential. It's always my number one survival tip is get a tent and a sleeping bag. You need both. Number two is protect your physical and digital security. So, physical security isn't just watching out for the police and thieves who are trying to like mug you or even maybe like commit violence against you. Like, you also need to watch out for mountain lions, bears, and other sorts of small animals, even with rabies, like I said previously, that'll try to get you. And also, you need to be worried of your digital security because if you have like an online bank account, you need to make sure it doesn't get hacked. You don't get scammed by Ranjesh from Mumbai or something. Okay, and also another thing about digital security is that the vast majority of hackers and other digital people who commit crimes don't get caught. So if you want to go that route and you have the ability to do so, if your situation is desperate enough, I unironically would suggest like, but only if and only if you have failed to get a job and you absolutely need to. Okay. Number three is stay hidden regardless of your location. So if you're homeless, if you're in a nice area, the police are going to be harassing you and going after you. If you're in a ghetto area, you're not only going to be have to worried about the police, but also gangs and thugs and also other homeless people who may not directly try to harm you physically, but just compete with you or even manipulate you into getting addicted to drugs. So you need to be worried about that. Unfortunately, you can't really trust anyone on survival mode or when you're in survival mode, so you're going to have to rely on your own inner strength or organizations of some kind. And it's important to learn stealth camping. Like, I would suggest watching the YouTube channel called Steve Wallace. He shows all sorts of creative stealth camping techniques. And yeah, please watch his channel. Number four is move to a more suitable state. Like, the states of Oregon and Wyoming are the only states that don't have vagrancy laws. So if you're camped in the woods and not bothering anybody, you're not going to be like forcefully evicted by the pigs. And yeah, in fact, in some states like Tennessee, they actually, I think they either did make it a felony or tried to make it a felony to camp on public land for too long, which is like cruel and unusual. They're basically forcing you to walk insane distances. So yeah, if you're autistic and you end up homeless, I would say move to any state that is adjacent to the Pacific Ocean. So California, Oregon, Washington, especially. Yeah, Austin, Texas, and some other southern states have services, but that's only because of how horribly they treat them otherwise. So, uh, number five is take very good care of your lower extremities. Make sure you never pop blisters because blisters are what harden your feet, and you might have to do a lot of walking. I advise against using energy unnecessarily because that's going to force you to have to somehow either beg, steal, use your limited money, or even dumpster dive for food if you like don't have some sort of stealth farming or fishing pole thing set up. You'll also have to defecate more frequently if you eat and move more frequently, and that may not be an option if you're in a big city, which is why I suggest getting the hell out of cities and moving to a small town that has lots of woods that you can hide in. Like, taking care of your feet is important. Like, you need to have strong calves so that you can run in case of an emergency, and also make sure to stretch them every day so that they don't get like tendonitis and stuff. I learned that the hard way. Yeah, so always Google foot, ankle, and calf and tibia, just any lower extremity, like from the knee and below. You need to take like religious care of it. Seriously. Uh, Number six is invest in a bike with carrying capacity. Unfortunately, if you walk way too much all day, your lower extremities and even your knees or hips are going to give out. So you need some sort of transportation that'll get you places quicker. This will also help you get a job and commute to work more quickly, which is why another reason to avoid living in a southern or an overly red state is because you need to live in a place that's bike friendly, so you won't like get tortured constantly by the fucking police. Number seven is learn bushcraft and watch camping shows. Unfortunately, especially for autistic people, we can't really depend on begging or services or even getting a job. So you're just gonna have to learn how to fish, how to make fires, how to purify water. Like, if you need to know how to make a friction fire, and you need to know how to catch fish and trap animals if you want to survive, unfortunately. So, and also make shelters or add to your shelters. Like, you should be watching Survivor Man every day and reading books about bushcraft. Ray Mears is also a good one. So yeah, you definitely need to learn bushcraft and survival if you want to study. Okay, so number eight is study personal finance daily. Fortunately for most people, homelessness is temporary. However, for some, it is permanent, but learning finance in the adult world is non-negotiable. Like, you need to know how to do your taxes. You need to know how to save money, open a bank account, and all those stuff, and pay for housing. So yeah, personal finance, something they don't teach in schools, unfortunately, which I think is like borderline criminal. So yeah, you need to study personal finance every single day because it may actually get you out of your situation. Okay, number nine is become a Buddhist and slash or practice meditation every day. Being homeless is very stressful and involves a lot of suffering, so you're going to need to know how to deal with that suffering. And a great way to do that is to meditate a lot and study Buddhist or some other sort of religious text that will allow you to deal with your situation without freaking out, resorting to drugs, or maybe even like killing yourself or doing something that gets you sent to prison, making your life even worse. Number 10 is get good at manipulating people. For many of us, our lack of social skills is literally the reason why we ended up in this situation in the first place. So we most definitely need to learn how the mind works and how to work with other people and convince other people of other things. In fact, you may actually be able to convince somebody to let you stay with them if you're socially savvy enough, especially if you're a female. But if you're a female, just beware. They're going to try to sexually exploit you. So make it clear that know you want to get on your feet as soon as possible. And you definitely need to know and understand power dynamics. Like, the lower you are on the social hierarchy, the more important an understanding of power dynamics will keep you from potentially real physical harm. Okay.